Hey guys, what's up? It's JR Cuber, and in this video we have another Puzzlecrate unboxing. This is the March box. I'm going to be working on getting caught up with Puzzlecrates over the next few weeks, but I'm going to be just starting with the last one that I haven't done, which is in March. This is actually my second time recording this video. The first time I tried to record it was the first time I tried recording in this new space, there was a few things I still had to work out. My audio was kind of messed up, and of course, my SD card ran out. So yeah, I'm doing this video again. All right, let's get into this. So we got two puzzles in here. So let's go ahead and start with this Chi puzzle, which is called the 6-Spot Cube. So the 6-Spot Cube was created by David Pitcher and was mass produced by Chi in late 2019. Like most Chi puzzles, the 6-Spot Cube is very high quality and is extremely playable. To no surprise, the puzzle gets its name from the 6 large spot pieces at the center of each face. It's a perfect puzzle for beginners or anyone looking for a quick and fun solve experience. And the card is very right about that. This is a very, very simple but fun puzzle. As you can see, it looks very simple, but at the same time, it's a little confusing as to how it moves, especially if you're not familiar with these kinds of puzzles. Basically, it turns along the corners like this. And you can see that the center pieces move under the other pieces as it's turning. It's really, really cool. So there's 4 axes of rotation, very similarly to a skewb actually. Skewb cores only have 4 corners that are actually attached to the core. The other 4 corners are just floating pieces. And that's kind of what this is. This is basically a skewb with the centers and then only the 4 corners that are attached to the core. So when you turn it, it actually kind of sounds like a skewb. Got that same kind of clicking mechanism, and it just kind of feels like a skewb too. And yeah, this is a fun puzzle to solve. I'll go ahead and do a solve for you. It's basically an easier skewb, so it's definitely not too hard, especially because these corners can't really be rotated out of their position. So you're really just solving these 6 middle pieces. So solving the corners is basically trivial. You just kind of align them. There we go, all the corners are done. And now we just have to insert these 6 center pieces. So we'll go and start with white. We can do a 3 cycle between these 3 pieces. The only axes we can really do 3 cycles on are the axes where all of these lines converge, because that means we can turn on the left side and on the right side. So we can do a 3 cycle like this to get this white piece in. Now the first 3 centers you want to get are going to be the first 3 centers surrounding 1 corner, because that basically allows you to do a 3 cycle between the last 3 pieces on the other side. So we're going to go ahead and try and get this blue one in here. Now that's very easy if we just rotate it this way and do a 3 cycle between these 3 pieces. There we go, we can get that one in. And now we need this orange one in. This is going to be a little harder because we need to rotate this down, but then we need to rotate this back, and we can't move one of these 2 pieces in to swap with this piece. So what we need to do is instead do a setup move to bring in an unsolved piece, then bring in this orange piece, then bring in the unsolved piece, undo that, and then undo our setup move. All right, now we have 3 solved centers around 1 corner. The last 3 centers is just a simple 3 cycle. Boom. And that's the puzzle. So yeah, I'd say the solve of this is honestly fairly trivial. There's really not much to it. I think anyone would be able to figure it out if they were messed around with it long enough. It's just kind of one of those types of puzzles, but still a fairly fun solve. And I think it's definitely a nice eye catcher because it looks very simple. But I think to, you know, someone who's not into puzzles and stuff like that, it probably would be a bit confusing to think about how would the heck this would even turn, you know? All right, let's go ahead and move on to the 4 corners cube. So the 4 corners cube is yet another puzzle brought to life by the brilliant puzzle designer David Pitcher. There are 12 axes of rotation and 4 of the puzzle's corners are movable while the other 4 corners are locked in place. It is a jumbling puzzle, which means moves will become blocked as the puzzle gets scrambled. It can even be a little tricky to fully scramble the puzzle due to the shapeshifting and jumbling. Like most land puzzles, the turning is very smooth. Enjoy! Yeah, so here it is. This has got a very, very cool design. Basically, the way this moves is on every corner, there are 3 different sides that can rotate. So it moves like this. So you can see around every corner, you can turn it that way, you can turn it this way, and of course, you can turn it this way. And you can basically rotate around 4 of these corners. So you can see this one, this one, this one, and this one. These four corners, there's really nothing you can do. Nothing rotates around these four corners. This puzzle reminded me a lot of the clover cubes. In fact, I feel like this is like a shape modification of some kind of clover puzzle where like this here would be the edge, because the clover cubes you can rotate along 2 axes on each edge. And as you can see here, this would be like the one axis, and this would be the second axis. And usually there's a piece that intersects between 2 of them that can rotate on both. So my guess would be a cubic version of a clover tetrahedron. That's my thought. I'm not totally sure on that though. So the movement of this puzzle is very, very standard for Land. All Land puzzles have a very similar plastic and a very similar just outward feeling and turning quality. So if you've ever tried a Land puzzle, you'll kind of have a general idea of what this will feel like. It's not terrible. They all have very mediocre turning. I have solved this once before when I first did this video. It definitely was pretty tricky. I actually almost gave up, but I kind of just guessed my way through it in a way until I just figured it out. But I'm gonna try it again, see if I can kind of figure out more so what it is that I'm doing. All right, with all that being said, let's go ahead and scramble this up. With scrambling this puzzle, it's definitely very similar to the clover cubes in that it's kind of hard to separate pieces out. It can sometimes be a little tricky to get pieces all that far away from their original positions, but I'm gonna do my best here. This kind of comes to a point where there's just not a whole lot more moves you can make before you have to just start undoing the moves that you just made. Oh man, I hope this solve isn't going to be a whole lot worse for me because I know how to scramble it better after doing a solve. I'm going to call that done right there. All right, let's go and get started. These first stages, it's kind of nebulous as to what exactly you're doing. My thought process is that I'm just kind of trying to flatten things out as much as I can, generally get things back to their more normal shape, and then we can start manipulating individual pieces from there. And if I can along the way, I'll try and solve some pieces, but the main goal here is just flatten things out a bit. Okay, we're already kind of close to getting things flattened. I want to get this piece like up here so I can swap with some of these pieces. So let's see about doing that. Here we go. We got it down to 2 pieces though. So what I'm going to instead focus on now is solving some of the other pieces and see if we can kind of save these pieces for last. I think I'm gonna go ahead and try and get all these middle pieces in, at least maybe with the exception of this one. But we can go ahead and get the rest of these in here. So to get this white one in, we can kind of do a little bit of something like that, even though it temporarily breaks things. Kind of cycle in like that. I want to get this blue one out of here so we can put that there, and then immediately bring this blue one in, just like that. Now we just have to get this one in. I'm going to see if I can. Looks like I can actually do a simple swap just right here. Oops. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, I haven't seen this before where we just have one kind of clump of pieces here that needs to be twisted. I'm gonna see if I can just get some of the rest of these pieces in. So let's see, maybe we can try and get this corner in here. How are we gonna go about that? Aha, there we go. That's there in the right rotation. Okay. Let's see about maybe getting this piece in. I need to basically take this corner out and pair it with this piece, but this corner is rotated wrong, even though it's technically right. I need to go about this from a different angle. You know, this piece is kind of not in a good spot being right next to these, so I'm gonna leave this alone for now and see if I can tackle some of these other pieces around the cube. Maybe something like this would be better. Oh, I seem to have gotten something paired up here. I like the look of that. Seem to have twisted a few things around here. Let's see if we can't just get this twisted back. Okay, this is significantly harder than it was the first time. I think I definitely did a better job scrambling. Okay. So we're back to here. Again, I still don't like that I only have one piece rotated. But let's see. I don't think I made much progress by doing all of that. I am, however, one rotation away from getting these two pieces paired. I can just rotate them together like that. Let's see if is there just an obvious way to get this in here. Okay, yeah, but that breaks up this, which is exactly what I took these pieces out to fix. All right, I'm just gonna try and get this corner over here. I'm gonna see if I can get that in place in the right orientation. It's kind of a constant game of just trying to do things, but destroying everything else in the process of trying to do those things. It's very annoying. Man, okay, I am like very stuck. I'm kind of annoyed that I was able to solve this last time, but this time around I am like making so little progress. Like last time it didn't take me a terribly long time to get to kind of the last step where I just had to rotate around a couple pieces, which took a little bit of time to figure out in and of itself, but I can't even get there. It's very difficult because the turning is so limiting. There's not a whole lot you can really do in a lot of situations, so it's pretty hard to figure out. I'm gonna keep going with it for a bit, but after a while I feel like I may just need to look up a tutorial. Oh, okay, I don't know what I did, but it looks like we've got it to where we have two corner segments that need to be flipped. I like this a lot better because I'm pretty sure I remember how to do this. I'm gonna see if I can figure it out and get everything flattened. There we go. Okay, everything's flattened out. I don't know how much this really helps us because I'm sure we're gonna have to break things up again to solve the rest of everything, but I'm glad that I know that I can at least do that. Oh man, I've gotten myself back into the problem I had before with just one corner twisted, and I haven't really been able to make much progress, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give up on this for now. I'm really sad because I was able to solve it before, but not a second time apparently. I've been recording for like over an hour now, and I just really don't want to keep going with this puzzle. It's just definitely stumping me. Ah! I got it! Okay! So yeah, I just don't think I'm going to be able to make too much more progress on this puzzle right now, but that really just about does it for this month's Puzzle Crate. So we got two really awesome puzzles. We got a much easier one and a much harder one. I thought I was going to have no problem solving this for a second time, but I think I just didn't do a good enough job scrambling it the last time, so the solve was just a little too easy. Another problem too with these kind of puzzles is even if you don't scramble it super well, the more time you spend solving it, the more it kind of messes up the rest of the pieces. But yeah, definitely still a great puzzle, very challenging, and just these clover cube type puzzles in general always tend to stump me. It's very difficult for me to solve them. But either way, that does it for the March Puzzle Crate. If you guys like to check out Puzzle Crate, the link will of course be in the description. It's a $30 a month subscription service and you get new puzzles sent to you every single month. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit that like button, turn on notifications, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.